everyone, what's up? My video today is dedicated to the recent Game Awards show, which aired with many interesting news, including the world premieres of several new games that haven't been announced yet. And of course, the Game Awards themselves, as well as a short discussion about who won the coveted Game of the Year award for 2022. Let's start with the game announcements that were made throughout the show. A few games grabbed the attention of the crowd and those watching online. It was preceded by a short pre-show during which several trailers for upcoming games were shown. Among them was the second trailer to Replaced, a 2D cyberpunk dystopian action platformer with real striking visuals that immediately drew the attention, as well as a captivating soundtrack. This game is set in the 80s in a dystopian cyberpunk world, and I'm very excited to play it just for the pixel art visuals and what seems to be an engaging narrative. The first major interesting game announcement for me in the main show was the sequel to Hades, Hades 2. Described as a roguelike dungeon crawler, which stars the previous game's protagonist's sister, Melinoe, as the new main protagonist for the sequel. Apparently, her character is based on an obscure Greek mythological figure from the underworld. It seems like the sequel will tread the same path as the first game, but bigger and hopefully even better. The developers of the first game, Supergiant Games, promise a larger underworld with new environments, obstacles, and improved features, along with an exclusive set of arsenal for the protagonist Melinoe. She is deemed as the princess of the underworld, an immortal witch and sorceress boasting powerful magical abilities and proficient in using different shadowy weapons. The narrative provided by this sequel is a direct continuation from the earlier game. In it, Melinoe will investigate a greater, more expansive mythical world to defeat the Titan of Time with all of the authority of Olympus backing her. As with the first game, it will be available in early access for some time before the official launch. Further information will be available this year. Players' feedback during the early access period will be critical to fulfill the game's full potential, just as the developers achieved with the first game. This announcement has created a real buzz among the fans since the first game was among the best games of 2020. The first game has received overwhelming positive reviews in many awards. There is no exact release date yet for the sequel, but it's certainly a game to watch in the coming years. In addition to all of the various announcements during the show, the Death Stranding sequel announcement drew my attention the most. The sequel announcement was enthusiastically received by the audience, and we were shown a mysterious new trailer that shows Fragile, one of the main supporting characters of the first game, with a short haircut trying to rescue Bibi, Sam's beloved companion, whose help allowed him to detect and avoid the BTs. There is a hint that she'll be the main protagonist, but in the trailer an older Sam appears to be invited to join Fragile's team in the final scene. It appears based on the last part of the trailer that we'll get to play as Sam Porter once again, at least for a portion of the game. We'll likely have dual protagonists this time around and play as both Fragile and Sam during certain sections of the game. Similar perhaps to God of War Ragnarok. Higgs, one of the main antagonists from the previous game, will appear, voiced by the renowned Troy Baker. There are so many interesting and hidden details in that trailer, but I'll discuss them at another time because my discussion will contain significant spoilers. It's a captivating trailer with great graphics based on the Decima engine that was developed by Guerrilla Studios. It's definitely one of the major games to follow in the future and my favorite announcement from the show since I played the first game from start to finish, and although it wasn't perfect, it was still a very unique and engaging experience for me. The release date has yet to be determined. Other interesting game announced on the show included Judas, a game featuring a similar gameplay to the BioShock series. Judas is a new game from BioShock creator Ken Levin. His studio, Ghost Story Games, will develop the game, and it will be their first published title. No release date was announced, but it will be available on most platforms. The surprising announcement by From Software of a new Armored Core game, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, the sequel to their fifth game in the series from 2012, was another exciting announcement for gamers. The games in the series have traditionally been multiplayer and customization-focused mecha action games. In spite of some online speculation, it's not expected to have a new or different kind of a Soulsborne type of gameplay or game design like their other recent games. Several of the core features of the previous games in the series will most likely be preserved and expanded on in this game. This specific announcement came right before the final award, so the presentation was nicely arranged to emphasize the company's future titles following From Software's immensely successful year with Elden Ring. As part of the pre-show and award show, a few important announcements about upcoming expansions to key games were made, including the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC, which is expected to be released on April 19, and a new trailer for Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, featuring Idris Elba, who will be featured in a key part of the story alongside Keanu Reeves, who is expected to return as Johnny Silverhand. It's expected that Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty will be released this year, although no exact date has been given. This expansion will only be available for current generation consoles. More announcements were made during the show, including a new trailer and a release date for Final Fantasy XVI, which will be released on June 22 this year. A cinematic trailer was released for the new The Lords of the Fallen game, a reboot of the 2016 game, which is a dark fantasy RPG with Souls-like gameplay. Moreover, there's a new story-driven action RPG game called Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. Set in the late 17th century in the wilds of North America, it tells the story of two ghost hunters who protect the living from ghosts and specters. It's expected to be released this year, but no release date has been announced yet. After going over the major announcements of the Game Awards show, at least as I see them, I would like to talk about the biggest winners of the award show themselves. Specifically the awards won by God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring, two of the major contenders for most of the awards on the show for 2022. I played both games and I still play them. Both are excellent in their own genres, but only one could have been named Game of the Year. In a somewhat of a surprise, Elden Ring won both the major awards of the evening, the Best Game Direction Award and the Game of the Year Award. Also the Best RPG Award and the Best Art Direction Award, all well deserved. God of War Ragnarok swept the award shows with 6 awards prior to the final 2. It won the Best Action Adventure Game Award, the Innovation in Accessibility Award, the Best Performance Award for Christopher Judge, who is the voice actor behind Kratos, the Best Audio Design Award, the Best Score Music Award for the composer Bear McCreary for his score for the game, and the Best Narrative Award. My opinion is that all of the given awards for God of War Ragnarok were well deserved, except for the Best Music Score Award. It's my subjective opinion, but among all of the musical game scores this year, Elden Ring stood out for me the most for its wonderful score, which I thought deserved to be awarded. My expectations based on how the award show went up to that point was that God of War Ragnarok would win every major award. But to my pleasant surprise, Elden Ring won both the last 2 and most prestigious ones, the Best Game Direction Award and the Best Game of the Year Award. Both games were truly exceptional, but among the few things that put Elden Ring above God of War Ragnarok, in my opinion, was that it dominated the entire year. It was the most talked about game, the most played game, the most memed game, and had the most content created on social media and on YouTube. It sold the most overall and got the highest scores. It was also innovative, pushing the open-world RPG genres to new heights with a new open-world design not seen before. As a player, I spent probably tens of hours playing the game, and I'm still playing it. It's truly an all-time great game and more than deserved its Game of the Year award. Even though God of War Ragnarok was a very good sequel, it wasn't as flawless and well executed as the first game, both in terms of the gameplay and the overall interpretation of the Norse mythology. My overall impression of the Game Awards show was mixed. Although there were some very good game announcements and new trailers, the pace of the show was sometimes too slow, and not all awards were given to the most deserving games and studios. However, it was an enjoyable show with great ending and of course some major premieres and future game reveals. And now I would like to ask those of you who watched the Game Awards show, what did you think about it? What game announcements interested you the most? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to keep up with my upcoming videos, and I'll see you soon.